About a year ago now, Ledger, one of the most popular cryptocurrency wallet providers in the industry, made an announcement about a new service called Ledger Recover, which caused a lot of panic and confusion in the crypto community. Since then, Ledger has been working on their roadmap. It includes some truly revolutionary new crypto wallets, and we are going to explore them together once Ledger brings them to market. Before checking out Ledger's new products, we need to address what caused Ledger, the golden child of crypto wallets, to fall from grace by doing a deep dive into the Ledger Recover paid subscription service to make sure we completely understand how it works, the risks, the reasoning behind its existence, and the rationality behind its release via a firmware update to all Ledger devices newer than the Nano S device. Breaking all this down in a separate video together is important because we all are super early adopters of this new technology and new asset class. So we need to accept that it will continue to evolve, and it's a process that will involve sometimes going 2 steps forward, 2, 3, 4 steps back. Getting stuck on something without taking the time to research or understand it entirely will result in some of us missing out on opportunities. Similar to how a lot of people who haven't gone down the crypto rabbit hole yet are still stuck on narratives like Bitcoin isn't backed by anything, crypto is useless, it's all scams and Ponzi schemes, it's only used by criminals, etc. Those hung up on these things are likely going to miss out on their .com era, their potential once-in-a-lifetime investment opportunity, possibly realize a significant amount of wealth in a relatively short period of time. So just to be extremely clear and upfront about an important concept in the crypto industry, we need to be mindful of as crypto investors. We are dealing with new speculative technology that naturally comes with a lot of risk and uncertainty. Throughout our unique crypto journeys, we discover things about ourselves, like our risk tolerance, whether we value convenience over security in some cases, our comfort with self-custody versus custodial solutions, compromises we are willing to make in certain situations, blockchain network preferences like Ethereum versus Solana, our favorite communities or crypto narratives like gaming versus AI versus memes. We become aware of knowledge we may lack in subjects related to the industry, and some of us unfortunately discover shortcomings in our technical abilities to self-custody our crypto when we lose it from hackers, scammers, user error, and mismanagement of our private keys or seed phrase. So at the end of the day, we are all free to operate from our own unique foundation that gives us the peace we need to sleep at night as people who are, if we are being completely honest with ourselves, gambling and speculating in this new digital asset class. And when operating within that stark reality, the cold hard truth is there is no perfect wallet. There are different risks associated with them all, which is why we always discuss on the channel the importance of diversifying these risks by using multiple types of crypto wallets. There are wallets better suited for beginners versus more advanced users, investors with a small amount of crypto versus a significant amount. Some wallets are more affordable than others. They all look different, have different features, are made in different countries around the world. With that said, we are going to explore some vulnerabilities that exist with all cryptocurrency wallets, risks we assume when our wallets interact with decentralized Web3 apps, how Ledger Recover actually works, and extra security layers Ledger builds into their devices that help mitigate risks that other wallets don't. That way we can all make informed decisions about which crypto wallets we are willing to diversify our investments into. Let's hit it. Let's start off with a technical reality that applies to all hardware wallets to clear up popular misconceptions among even the most hardcore OG crypto purists in our community. All hardware wallets, every single one of them, has pre-installed code that accesses the private keys, and the reason is because without this access, the wallet cannot perform any transactions. Now, each hardware wallet accesses the private key in different ways, some in more secure ways than others. And this is simply another factor we need to, 1, be mindful of as crypto investors, and 2, be mindful of when we assess which types of risks we are willing to take and compromises we are willing to make when choosing crypto wallets. Because there is trust involved with every crypto wallet. There is no completely fail-safe, foolproof crypto wallet. Even some of the most sophisticated and secure hardware wallets can be overcomplicated by the user to the point that they lose all their crypto by locking themselves out by user error. With this in mind, all wallets, hardware and software, including Ledger, access the keys of the wallet when transactions are performed. When we go to send crypto from our wallets, the key is accessed. We sign to confirm we want the transaction to occur, and then the transaction is communicated to and executed on the blockchain. So the statement that ledgers now have a backdoor that didn't previously exist before the introduction of Ledger Recover to the latest firmware is factually and technically incorrect. And the most accurate way to think about the option to opt into Ledger Recover or not is treat it just like a crypto transaction that you need to initiate, sign, and confirm before it executes. Because opting into it involves the same exact access to the wallet keys as transacting. Keeping in mind, this is crucial here, so listen up, that the keys are being accessed to sign transactions. However, the key information remains private and inaccessible. There are a lot of highly technical nuances to this that involve cryptography, computer science, physics, mathematics, software coding, etc. So if you would like to fully inspect Ledger's software, operating system, and security architecture, you can use the links in the description area below to access everything, as it's all open source and a detailed white paper, including an outline of the technical details of Ledger Recover, we can all review and verify for ourselves. To keep this video focused and straightforward, the bottom line is Ledger wallets do not have backdoors. All hardware wallets have access to the wallet keys. They don't just prompt us to turn that access on or off in the user interface software, because without that access to the keys, we can't perform any transactions, defeating the whole purpose of having a crypto wallet to interact with the blockchain in a secure and user-friendly way in the first place. So the only differences about Ledger is 1, we can simply opt in if we want to use the Ledger Recover service, and 2, the ways the keys are accessed involves extra security layers other wallets don't use. Before getting into how it works, the reasoning and the rationality behind Ledger Recover and Ledger's decision to offer this kind of service, long story short, we all need to have multiple crypto wallets. And by the end of this video, many of us may come to the conclusion that Ledger should be one of them. About a year ago, I made a video summarizing a live stream one of the Bitcoin OG of OGs, absolute legend, Andreas Antonopolous, did with Jameson Lopp, an 9-year veteran in self-custody solutions, right after the Ledger Recover feature was announced. And they answered a lot of questions and quelled a lot of concerns many of us had after the announcement. After going through some of the things they addressed, we may conclude that the worst thing about Ledger Recover is how it was announced, the lack of education and clarity about how it worked at the time, and their failure to communicate how the update associated with the new feature or service didn't fundamentally, technically, or actually in any way change the relationship between Ledger devices' hardware, software, firmware, and how these access and interact with the wallet keys. Not to make excuses for them or anything. In reality, with how new and cutting edge this speculative technology is, there are just a handful of true information security and operational security experts in the crypto industry who are comfortable with talking about things like risk analysis publicly, who can explain it in a way that regular people like you and I can understand, and who can share insightful personal thoughts on such matters, who are also independent from Ledger's company. Andreas and Jameson are part of this rare group of experts, so let's explore some of what they discussed about Ledger Recover. Ledger Recover is a service that allows us to essentially share a copy of the entropy of our wallet's private key or seed, then broken into 3 fragments, and those 3 fragments are then sent to 3 different providers, one of which is Ledger. And in the future, if we were to ever lose access to our wallet's private key or seed phrase, we can identify ourselves with a form of ID, like a passport, and have them recover our seed by assembling 2 of the 3 fragments. And just like we already discussed, both Andreas and Jameson emphasized the importance of understanding that as investors in this brand new developing speculative asset class, there are no perfect crypto hardware wallet devices on the market. And the only way to handle this fact and decrease the amount of risks our funds are exposed to is by diversifying our crypto investments into different types of wallets and storage options. At the end of the day, Jameson conceded that he understood where Ledger was coming from when deciding to offer these new recovery services because, as someone who works in the custody space, the main number 1 reason why people lose their crypto using self-custody wallets is from not having a good backup solution for their seed or private key. And the second reason why people lose their crypto when using self-custody wallets is from phishing attacks, where they are tricked or socially engineered by a scammer to give them your seed phrase by telling them they have to type it into a website or provide a fake service because they lie and say your accounts have been frozen or compromised, etc. What's interesting is they note that risks like theft of your physical crypto wallet device or the device actually getting hacked by a hacker are quite far down the list in terms of risk, because those types of events rarely result in loss of funds. So basically, user error and lack of securing our wallet backups and by being tricked by scammers are the top two main reasons why people lose their crypto. And an interesting statistic that was in an article conducted on Ledger Recover mentioned that in the entire existence of Ledger's company, which is now about 10 years, at that time they had sold 5 million devices, now 7 million, over 20% sold in just the year following the FTX event. That's over 1 million devices. And this means that there were a ton of new cryptocurrency hardware wallet users that flooded into the market. So what Ledger's trying to do is offer a user-friendly backup solution to cater to new hardware wallet users as the crypto industry continues to grow and gain more adoption. Andreas made it a point to be very clear and emphasize that hardware wallets are the best and safest solution for the vast majority of crypto investors, because building your own solution, doing it yourself, using a custom Linux solution, Raspberry Pis using paper wallets, or trying to do some weird encryption scheme using USB sticks, all of those are much more risky than simply buying and using a user-friendly hardware wallet like Ledger correctly. The biggest risk people new to crypto face isn't their keys being stolen, it's lack of knowledge and or technical capabilities that lead to them losing access to their own keys by accident. So if we really think about it, if we were a company in the crypto industry with this knowledge, we would try to come up with solutions to this problem of losing access to crypto wallet keys. Hence, Ledger Recover. The service is a paid monthly subscription, which costs about $10 per month, which, if we know a thing or two about modern day business practices, subscription models are a great source of consistent, reliable cash flow. The reasoning and rationality behind the optional Ledger Recover service makes perfect sense. It's just unfortunate, like we discussed earlier, that the way they announced it was terrible, and considering that a lot of people in crypto are paranoid anyways for good reasons, due to scammers, hackers, rug pulls, glitches, complicated tech stuff, etc. Once you freak us out, we are out. Believe me, I was freaked out too. Am I anymore? No. Do I use Ledger devices? Yes. I use a lot of different crypto wallet devices. Have I opted to use Ledger Recover? No, I personally don't have a need for it. However, if you do, let's explore some technical details about how Ledger splits our seed if we decide to opt into their new Recover service. So to split the seed, Ledger uses an industry standard algorithm called Shamir's secret sharing scheme, and this is actually one of the few mathematically provable secure cryptographic algorithms developed by Shamir in the early 70s. So it's a very old concept, and it allows you to take any number and split it into multiple independent shards, of which you need a certain amount of those shards in the scheme to recover the original number. And with Shamir's scheme, you can calibrate it to require 3 of 4 shards, 4 of 10, 10 of 26, or any combination you want. So if only one shard is available, or any number of shards below the minimum required in the scheme, the original number cannot be received. So in the case of Ledger, the private key's entropy is copied and split into 3 shards, of which you need 2 to recover it, with this well-understood and well-known algorithm. And you also need your ID, like a passport, to prove your identity. Amazing. Let's address the concern Andreas had about the relationships between the locations of the 3 service providers: Ledger in France, CoinCover in the UK, and EscrowTech in the US. These companies are where each shard would go, and all 3 entities are subject to the jurisdiction and legal processes of both national and international organizations. The UK, the US, and France are not entirely independent of each other. They are members of the Five Eyes surveillance network, strong military partners, and collaborators in law enforcement actions. 2 are part of Interpol, and 1 plays a significant role in internal law enforcement. As a result, these countries follow and respect similar rules of law and due process. So in the event of a serious crime or criminal activity, if proper legal courses of action with subpoenas and so forth are taken, they may collaborate if one government attempts to seize your digital assets. However, here's the reality of this type of situation. If the government wants your crypto assets, Even if you do not opt into Ledger Recover, even if you do not use a Ledger wallet, let's just say you use Trezor or some other hardware wallet, here's what they will do, because they've already done it with a popular controversial person you may have heard of. Check it out.
I don't think many people at home actually understand that they don't own anything. You buy a house, you own it until you don't pay the property taxes, then they come and take it off you. How do they take it off you? Violence. Police come. If you disobey the police, you get shot. They come with violence. Then you go to court and say, that's my house. I paid for it. My whole family have lived there. It's mine. And they say, but you didn't pay your property taxes and we put the taxes up even though we've just randomly raised them and you can't afford it because you lost your job because you were locked in your house because of Corona. We still took your house off you. How do we decide if they were right? Well, they have the guns. So they're right. Doesn't matter how unfair we think it is. They're right and you lost it. It's the same with money in a bank account. It's the same with Bitcoin. I mean, unless you have a boating accident, if you leave it on an exchange, trust me, they'll take it.
Which is crazy, by the way. I heard you say that.
They'll take it. They'll find it. If they get your computers, laptops, etc., they'll find it. It's very hard to be rich now because most people are so concerned with making money that they never sit and think, what would I actually do?
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. If I gave you $50 million today, let's say I gave you 1 month's salary.
Yeah.
Take it. Where would you put it?
I was going to ask you this question.
Because you put it in the bank, they'll take it.
I don't know.
On an exchange, they'll take it. You can try and put it in on a Trezor and hide the Trezor.
You're going to get killed, right?
Well, you have to make sure no one knows about that Trezor. Yeah. And you have to make sure they don't put you in a police cell and say, look, if you don't tell us the password or you don't tell us the recovery key, the seed phrase, you're staying in this room for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You put it in gold. How are you going to move gold around?
Yeah, what do you do?
What do you do with it? You buy property, but then you have to
take the property.
Well, they'll take the property. So then you have to sit and analyze all the world's governments.
You buy Bugattis, they take the cars.
Of course. So you have to sit and say, well, which government is least likely to take things away from me? And then you realize you're living inside of the American empire. So any government which you'd like to live in, at least, the American empire can pressure. If you're important enough, if you're not insignificant, you have a house in Thailand. The American government can, via their embassy, pressure the Thai government to take the house. Thai police turn up.
Bottom line, with or without Ledger Recover, or with or without other hardware wallets, law enforcement could keep you locked up until you give them access to your private keys and digital assets. All right. I hope this video was helpful and informative. Soon we will explore some super cool new Ledger wallets together. So make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification so you know when they go live. At the end of the day, Ledger has been a staple in the crypto industry, constantly innovating, pushing the limits, maybe in ways that seem uncomfortable. However, we as an industry need to get out of and stay out of our comfort zone in order to grow. We certainly would not have been where we are now without Ledger. So let's all move onward and upward and focus on building a new, more inclusive, fair, transparent global financial system to ultimately create a better future for ourselves and our families. Awesome. If you would like to learn more about how crypto wallets, addresses, private keys, and seed phrases work, check out this video. If you would like to learn how to build lasting wealth in the crypto space, check out this video. And to check out Ledger's current lineup of products, click on the link on the screen. Like and subscribe for more. Be safe out there.